How do guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're here today with a new Reacts video. Today we're going to be watching Space Experts react to No Man's Sky. Now if you don't know what No Man's Sky is, I don't know how you're on my channel because it is currently one of the only games I do play. And if you also don't know who Gameology are, then you have also been living under a rock. They're a great YouTube channel. If you've got any games you play, they've most likely had a real life expert react to it. So I'd recommend going to check out their channel, give them a like, give them a subscribe. If you want to watch this video too without an annoying moron speaking over it the whole time, then there's the channel. There's the name of the video.
To get in and out of this thing would probably take a long time. You gotta doff whatever you're wearing, don your suit, then you have to equalize pressure.
So that's interesting how the door just opened, right? There's no airlock there, right?
Oh, I love No Man's Sky.
Uh-oh. This is definitely a black hole.
I'm going to assume yes, 99% of the stuff in it is not realistic, but...
I'm Colin Smith. I'm an aerospace engineer. I've been in the industry for about 10 years now. I've worked on everything from booster stages of rockets to in-space capsules, mostly on the propulsion system.
My name is Jerry Hudak. I've been in the aerospace industry for about 9 or 10 years now, working on in-space vehicles to carry astronauts, and now I currently work as a development and test engineer on rocket engine valves.
Must be sick to work in space engineering. Could you imagine working on rocket boosters?
We're excited to check out a little bit of No Man's Sky here.
Yeah. Even if the game ain't super realistic, they must think it's sick.
Than real space. Photon cannon.
Oh, photon cannon? Have you ever worked with one of those?
Never worked with a photon cannon. There we go. Photon cannon on the asteroids. Oh, warp speed. Warp speed is not real.
Imagine
Yeah, but
There it goes.
the thing is though, can it be real? Or does he just say like it doesn't exist
So
now?
that is kind of a thing. So a lot of these liquid engines you can throttle. That's a big thing you usually design in, like what the throttle range of your engine is. The lower the better usually, because you can do more fine movements. So, you know, like a 20% throttle range on a liquid engine would be really good. All the way up to, you actually go above 100%, so a lot of engines go to like 110%.
In a lot of space games, right, the movement in space is like counterintuitive, right? Like if someone is ahead of you, to speed up, you actually slow down, right, to go into like a lower orbit and then
What?
catch up with them. Or if you're in front of someone to slow down, you actually speed up to go into a higher orbit. It's a longer distance to get there. So normally when you're controlling these, right, it's very intuitive. Like you want to go forward, you speed up on it. Instead, you need to like actually slow down to like drop back into that.
Yeah. Most space games.
What? Does that make any sense to anyone? Or am I just like completely baffled here? How do you slow down? I know that if you go higher in the atmosphere, you go faster, and if you go lower, you go slower. That's air resistance. But how the hell do you go faster to slow down?
Just
Also, just
driving
zooming
around all different directions, and really most of space travel is based on orbiting a body.
Yeah, we all know that. You don't just go straight to it.
Technology.
Oh, we were using the inefficient thrusters?
Should have been using the better thrusters. Why were we using the bad thrusters? There
Oh,
you
did you
go.
see dihydrogen jelly?
No.
That's something we can use. I don't know why we...
Oh, we have that.
Jelly.
That's actually real.
This is
We're
for
pretty hungry,
sandwiches.
yeah. Fuel for the spaceship, fuel for the soul.
Okay, we're coming in.
Oh, we're there.
Mu Beta.
Beta.
Okay, this is the planet we're on. It's
Oh, is that a
unmapped.
ship?
Wait, let's take a look at this ship from the outside. Its fins are its legs, which is
Yeah.
kind of smart.
Alright, there you go.
Dual use of structure. It's very smart. From an engineering perspective, you probably want to make your capsule white because it doesn't absorb too much heat. Obviously,
Oh.
they're dealing with some
I didn't know
advanced
that.
technology
I know,
on this
how
one,
do
so
they-
they
how do
might
they
be
make
past
this?
the make your ship white stage.
I like the irony that it's like kind of like a snail. Just goes like super fast.
Don't disrespect the royal ship.
One side of the vehicle will be like your radiator, so you want to be able to like have like a dark facing side to be able to radiate heat away. We were going flying forward and I don't see any forward facing thrusters. We just slammed on the brakes.
All right,
Oh, what
immediately
is that?
this seems bad. There's an alien wolf situation.
Have you ever had to design for a wolf protection? for a spaceship?
No, but there is a.
The exploration is sick on that
Russian
game, though.
Cosmonauts always take a gun.
Oh, yeah.
They take a gun to the space station
Do they?
because when they come back, they land on land, and there could be bears in the Kazakh steppe. Or
Didn't know that.
wherever they land in Russia.
So you're telling me the Russians are just up in space with a Glock 22 in their hand?
Like survival skills, right? So
They really do have a gun. Scanning. So we have some sort of technology that can identify what these beasts are.
Yeah.
there we go.
It's got to be
63C.
multi-purpose. Oh yeah. Yeah, so that when we landed, it said this planet was unmapped, I believe. So I think it's got to be some general use suit, life support kind of thing. I was noticing the blue crystals. There could be some space minings action.
Yeah, it's the hydrogen, mate. You already know that
Space
exists.
mining's kind of a nascent field right now. People are trying to get into it. NASA actually just released a call for proposals to mine the
Oh, yeah.
moon. Did you see this?
Oh yeah, I did see that.
They're trying to pay private companies to mine the moon,
Yeah, but what's on it?
The spacesuit also works
And it just rock.
also underwater.
underwater.
That is sort of accurate. Like a
Yeah,
lot
it's
of
spacesuits training in
We had
underwater.
to go. I don't think anyone's gone from other than what Sandra Bullock, where she goes from space to in the water. Spoiler alert.
Well, to me, this planet from afar looked a lot like Saturn.
So that's just material that would have either come off the planet from like an impact, because around like the equator, like as the planet's spinning, it kind of just aligns in that range, right? Just a bunch of smaller particles that just would loop around there. Do have to be careful of like what surface you're landing on if you're going to kick up rocks and actually damage your hardware.
Yeah, but I
So
still
when
don't
they were
understand
moving
why those rings don't just fall in.
when they would take off, they didn't know if all of the moon dust would like kick up, or when they were landing also that it would cause damage to the nozzle, like when you're coming down, so to make sure they weren't sure if they could take off again.
Yeah, moon regolith is actually like super fine particles, so it sticks to everything. I think when the Apollo astronauts came back, they were basically like dirty from all this moon dust sticking to them. Since we've learned more,
We're not even gonna get
about
into whether or not
relativity,
people think that's real or not.
engineers do a lot of work to make sure that we can meet those requirements. So, for example, when the Mars rover goes to Mars, before it leaves, they test a lot of those components with fake Mars dust, basically.
Yeah, JPL has a place they tested it called the Mars Yard, where they
Mars Yard.
have been there. They build an exact replica of the vehicle, right? And then they have it these huge cables that they kind of just like drive it. It's not like driving like a regular remote control car. They send out a command and then it has to wait, like 15 minutes to get there. And then that comes back being like, okay, move forward 1, and it's not broken yet, still good. So
Don't want to get an offender bender on Mars with a $1 billion rover.
Yeah, but how slow they move that thing around. Yeah, with how slow they move that thing around, I am actually surprised to get anything done on another planet like that. Is that why we actually find nothing on this planet? Because we've sent stuff to the Mars, and we've sent stuff to the moon, and the moon ain't a planet. But if the robots have to literally like creep an inch every time they move, then they have to stop just to survey. It would take like a year just to get 30 centimeters.
Yeah, so for taking off, first of all, I didn't see any dust come off.
What's
or
wrong with
anything like
vertical
that.
takeoff?
That's one of the things you would definitely worry about when you take off. So if it's a booster stage, you actually shoot a ton of water underneath the vehicle to absorb the vibrations and acoustics, and to make sure nothing kind of flies up and hits the vehicle. So I'm not seeing any of that.
I don't think many people think about how loud it is just bouncing off of something and coming back and causing structural damage.
That's true. Yeah, like when
Yeah.
you go to a really loud.
Yeah, you're right. People don't often think about that because not many people are space engineers.
concert, and
Yeah.
you can see the subwoofers actually moving around. So when you light up a rocket engine, the same thing happens, and those acoustics actually move the vehicle. Panels on the vehicle, anything the sound hits, it will basically make a dynamic reaction. So you definitely have to worry about that.
Got a little bit of rock and roll music playing there.
5G tower?
Yeah, that's what it
Yeah,
was.
5G, bro.
Tower.
5G.
Maybe it is. It looks like it's raining outside.
So that's interesting how the door just opened, right? There's no airlock there, right? So the atmosphere outside must be kind of similar to what the people inside could.
Nah, they have the
experience, right?
invisible
Otherwise, you
things,
have a big
little-
lock. Typically, you would open it, you'd go into the airlock, close it, and then you'd repressurize that and make the atmosphere what you need it to be, and then you can take off your suit. A lot of space.
Yeah, but if
movies,
you had to do that
they-
every single time you walk in a building on this game, you'd spend more time in airlocks than actually playing the game.
Let's just open the door and go in.
There's a lot of grocery store doors in space
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so with the rain, as a life support expert, I would say there's obviously a very high humidity environment outside. You're in your suit, so that seems tough to handle.
Who was the astronaut that had a mishap with the suit and he had water actually come through and it was like
Yeah, and he nearly drowned, didn't he?
Like try to get back in from the EVA.
Super dangerous.
Yeah.
Like a reverse fishbowl.
Like there's no gravity to hold it down, so it'll just it kind of collects on things, and so it can get in front of you, and then you can't breathe. Also,
Yeah, but what I don't understand is the guy who had the spacesuit on, who that happened to. When the water's just surrounding his face, why don't you just drink it? Oh, am I dumb? Like, couldn't you just drank the water that was in front of his face? Just floating there.
mixing of air and space. So if you're just sitting there with no fans on, there's carbon dioxide that you're making, right? So nothing to push that away. You're gonna breathe in and out, and then you'll eventually suffocate from that. So
There's just carbon dioxide.
yeah, just like this, you
sitting
breathe
in
it out
there.
and then breathe that same thing back in, and then back out, and then back in. In spacesuits, there's like a constant wash of gases over their face to make sure that you're getting fresh air. Pain you feel when you hold your breath is actually from too much carbon dioxide, not from lack of oxygen. So if you lower the oxygen content in a room, you actually don't feel anything. You just go to sleep.
This is the same
Good to know.
It's like a
It looks
different one.
similar but different because it has this big
We
like
added this
bird
is,
nose.
I think this is like the warp drive one. This is what we need. We need that leading
So,
edge.
like a cow pusher.
that,
There's
like-
an old timey train in space.
But
I
just
think
let you know,
this
you were
one
looking
is-
at the
I feel
back of
like
it.
They made
But
it to look like an aerodynamic surface, like the front of a supersonic jet.
And so we can do this.
So here's the other thing. This vehicle does a lot of flying in what presumably is an atmosphere near the ground, and it does a lot of flying in space, and it does a lot of landing and taking off. So it's a very multi-faceted vehicle, which in reality is very hard to design. It's
you just
a
can't.
space vehicle that goes into orbit has a really tough time coming back down through the atmosphere. And obviously, a plane or a supersonic vehicle in the atmosphere has a really tough time going to space. So it's hard to satisfy all these engineering requirements at the same time.
Same with like engine efficiency, right? So like rocket engines, when you see like one that's designed for like a first stage, for instance, right? The nozzle is much shorter, but if you look at like the second stage nozzle, it's a lot bigger, and that's just from the atmospheric pressure decreases, right? You have to trade off. If you want one to go all the way
Wow.
up there, you kind of have to like pick your wins and losses there.
We don't use the same engine to take off, land, and do in-space maneuvering. And
We all
do
know that, mate. Come on.
atmosphere Flying. So nobody's ever made a single stage to orbit vehicle yet.
They were going to originally. Von Braun wanted to make single stage to orbit, and then I think he realized like the math was getting tough to close. But the original plan was single stage to orbit. Most of the rocket is fuel. It's mainly a big fuel tank.
Like 96% or 99%.
After you use the fuel in that, right, you can ditch the weight of the fuel tank, and so they drop that off. And because you drop that off, you then have much less to push up further, and they can just like drop off the fuel tanks as they use them.
Normally what you would see is what we call a boost stage, which is basically the rocket, and
Have we moved on from the
very
game now?
engine than the engine that you would use for in-space.
Like the boost stage engine is pretty much just like
Out
get
of the
out of the gravity
atmosphere.
well and like get
Yeah.
us up there. But you need to be much more precise in space.
A typical boost stage engine would have hundreds of thousands or a million pounds of thrust, whereas an in-space engine would have like 1 to 100 pounds of thrust or something like that. So very different technologies.
I'll get one more goddamn advert.
We just
So we
stopped.
came at a warp speed super fast. So when you're going at a very high velocity, and then all of a sudden you're going at a very low velocity, that's a very large deceleration.
Yeah,
So
you die in real life, but
landing
that's
is
okay.
Super
That's
tough to
okay.
design a vehicle around. So
And for people, like
and for people.
they call it eyes in orientation or eyes out orientation, and you can definitely take more in the eyes in orientation than like eyes out. Because it's like
I'm pretty sure they've said before that if you try to go the speed of light, you can't because you just die because you're a human and you can't hack it. But what if you slowly, like, and I mean really slowly, moved towards light speed and then as slow as possible slow down? Would I still die? Or would I be fine? Or is you just automatically dead because you're not meant to be going that speed? Science is so confusing.
It's like that woman that can like pop her eyeballs. out.
Yeah, that's what people are like see something they're like really scared of, like in cartoons.
I think we were seeing the other side, and it had
Oh,
like
there's
hexagonal.
yeah, the heat
tiles.
shields. Yeah, heat shields.
Similar to like space shuttle tiles.
Yeah.
Those have to be very hard to make. This
They're also
curve-
spherical. They're spherical and
Yeah.
hexagonal. But yeah, they're on the top of the vehicle, which really doesn't make sense.
Why do they only go on the
To
bottom?
get in and out of this thing would probably take a long time. You gotta doff whatever you're wearing, don your suit, then you have to equalize pressure.
If you're on the pad, right, they need to like condition the cabin, and there's a lot of hookups that are just plumbed in that are GSE, like ground support equipment, that kind of condition the environment for the astronauts. They have to go through and get all the instrumentation, and there's a bunch of checkouts to make sure that it's all fine. But
Yeah, and if you had to do that on this
there's a
game, I
layer
wouldn't play
they
it.
have, and then they have the layer, like the suit on top they use for launch and landing. But then after they get up into space, it's not very comfortable, so they can like get out of their seats, take that off,
Just float around.
and then like
Okay, it said launch thrust 75%. So there is some throttling when you launch. A lot of times vehicles will throttle down through max Q, which is the point of maximum aerodynamic pressure. So that's when there's the most forces acting on the vehicle, and if your G loading is really high on your engines and you have the most aerodynamic force, you can get in a sticky situation. So a lot of times engines will throttle down on launch.
And it's not always maximum aerodynamic pressure is not always at the when you're going the fastest, right? It's the combination of like the atmosphere is still kind of thick, like you're not into the thin part yet, but you're picking up speed. It's where those two kind of meet. When your atmospheric pressure drops, right, you have less resistance that you're feeling, so you're stressed less there, but you're like picking up speed through the whole thing.
Oh, it's just a black hole.
Okay. There is what seems to be a dark. Uh-oh. This is
Oh.
definitely a black hole.
Oh,
We popped out somewhere. So
Hmm?
we traveled
Steven
through
Universe?
a black hole.
like, oh yeah, black hole warp successful.
Black hole
we did
warp
it
successful.
with like 1,000,000 light years. That's pretty cool.
So is that what a black hole actually looks like, though?
In the movie
No.
Interstellar, physicist Kip Thorne was like working with them, and they were like trying to get it right, and they came up with this picture, and they're like, "Whoa, no one has like seen one in this much detail."
This one I would say was not as good.
I don't think
No,
it was
obviously not.
terabytes worth of black hole. So
No.
we're zooming out on the map.
Oh. Most solar systems are fairly flat. Ours is fairly flat, although some planets are off kilter, like Pluto and Uranus, and some of the other planets are more off kilter.
Oh yeah,
In our solar system,
I didn't know
it's
that. That's
rising-
it's good to learn that. So some of the solar system, because you always see it in the books, don't you? It's like that. It's a flat plane, and I've always thought that doesn't make sense. Not that the other way makes any sense, like, because it's all confusing as hell. But so some of the planets are actually spinning complete opposite ways.
how far away once you get outside of like Mars, they're like very big jumps. Earth to Mars is like maybe like this long, and then it's like, oh, and you have Jupiter like way down there.
Especially outside of the solar system, it's not that dense at all. It's space is almost entirely nothing.
So if we woke up tomorrow and we had technology like that,
People would freak out.
I'd probably be all over Instagram, lots of Insta stories.
No
What do you
shit.
do?
I guess take it for a spin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd
Except
probably
for that
just
Jupiter
leave.
thing we talked
Yeah,
about.
there are a lot of planets that are out for us to even go there because we would just get crushed when we land, or even having a solid surface. That's not even a given on some planets. Some planets are just gas all the way through, and we haven't even gotten down through it because it's just so toxic. It's
Cloudy
cloudy.
here.
Let's
The
another
weather
day
wasn't
maybe.
good, so we didn't
Yeah,
stay.
thanks for watching, and for more.
You're not welcome. Shut up. As the word say, no. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and don't forget to turn notifications on so you don't miss a time we upload. That was an interesting video. I mean, they kind of spoke less about the things that are good about the game, which I was hoping they'd do, and they just kind of explained how space works. But I mean, it was still an interesting video. We'll give them a like.